Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of Lockdown Euros, where we have Italy versus Wales in our first matchup in what I'd call the group stage, or what will be the first round. So these are fixtures I've compiled from the groups, placing the first seeded team against the fourth, and this will open up with Italy and Wales. You can see some very interesting matchups in there, one in particular being France and Portugal. Knowing one of those are going out in the first round is quite mental, especially when someone like Ukraine and Macedonia are definitely going through from theirs. So here's the team. I just try to use some of the best players I've had without going mental on price. So I could have got a Chiellini, but especially at centre back it wasn't necessary. I went with Immobile because he was the highest rated, and of course I had to squeeze Bale in there however I could. Obviously I could have just stuck him at right mid and not gone with James, but my striker would have been poor at that point. So we've gone right forward up front, and he's got about 4k, which is somehow still enough to get him a boost, which amazes me. Into the first game here, and early on we do take the lead with like Aaron Ramsey goal start by Bale. It's an early 1.5 point lead for Wales. Also what I've got to add is that these matchups are to 10 points instead of the 8 that I was doing before, just to try and make it progressive as it goes along. Get another chance there, but he comes down the right with Dembele. Chops inside, Emerson's tracking. Does go back out to him. Does squeeze it in the middle. And that looping shot, which usually when you see your players doing, you're like, oh god, this ain't going to be any good. Actually looped over, I believe, Buffon in goal quite well. Shortly after that is half time. Should go into 1-0. Feel like I could be beating this guy. Stats obviously are slightly in our favour, so I think I will get it in the end. At the start of the second half, we look to break him down. Zaniolo into the feet of Bale. Looks further right to James, who does get in the box. Lashes well across goal. Another goal made and scored in Wales. So they are up to a 3-0 lead now. It's already looking slightly treacherous for Italy if they don't get their arse moving. He comes forward again down his right hand side into his shack. Does put back again for Dembele. I can't get someone in the way of a shot. And just like our first goal's played back, this one is too. But not to be put off by that fact as we head down the left with SHAREfactory. Move it centrally to Ramsey, who looks into the space that James is in on the right. He just managed to get enough for him to put it back to Bale, and the first shot is saved. He picks up the pieces. They do keep Daniel James that assist, so we're up to 4.5 now. And yeah, half a point off the halfway mark, and Italy are yet to move. Wales really looking powerful, really. And this could be first upset in the first matchup. I would say it's like ungodly that Wales would beat Italy, but it's probably not what you'd expect. So it's an upset of sorts. I think, to be fair, with the 3 attacking players, it is rather even. If we square it off to Bale and gets another, and we're up to 6 for Wales. And obviously that's how most of the point scoring is done. So that Wales maybe don't have quite as good centre backs as Italy. That's not really a question either, and same with goalie. But when it comes to forwards like Bale and James and Ramsey in midfield, it's not too dissimilar for Italy. Again, I could have thrown someone in like Verratti, but if I started Immobile, it would have been off Chem, and that wouldn't have helped. And also, he's not very FIFA suited. He's a good passer, but he wouldn't help us score too much, and obviously already had the Zaniolo. On the wings, Italy have struggled for quite a long time, so the fact that SHAREfactory is the best we can get on the left just is what it is, really. Going into the second game, this guy has got 4 icons. I think this is again when I accidentally got promoted up to Div 5, which has gone alright since, especially for the Jimenez challenges that I did manage to finish off in the end. But at the time, I think I'd just come off a massive loss with the Georgian Macedonia team that was so painful to use. And this game was just purely out of what had to be done, but it was just filled with kind of just rage in my head. So defending was a bit lazy, probably wasn't as thoughtful on the attack. So this was never really going to go well. A good chance for Immobile at the back post, he can't quite squeeze it in, would have been Italy's first points. And again he comes forward, exchanging between Muniain and Zapata. He's get back into the feet of Muniain. I thought one of my defenders was going to do something about that pass, but they don't. And it is 2-0 to him. And he's not done there for the first half. But again, he gets into my box, but Buffon makes a save this time. Just before half time, he's moving it around in my box. Does again, I think I'm getting a tackle in there, so I've got someone close enough to it, but the tackle's not made, and it's 3-0 before half time. So I think you can see where the result's going in this one already. But again, this is all we can do now, is try and get any points we can. Obviously there's the match rating one coming at the end, but just try and get any points, as I say, we can before the final whistle. Bale does get into a bit of space down there, nice ball into SHAREfactory. A nice finish from him off the post to get Italy's first point. but it does get Wales another half, so it's not too much ground gained, not ground ruined. But it does get Italy off the mark, and maybe they can kick into some kind of gear to give them a chance in this, but obviously they are looking quite away now as Wales enter the third quarter of the point. So they've hit the third quarter mark and only got a quarter of the points left to get. So it is looking like it's going to be theirs. SHAREfactory again down the left this time, attempts for the chip as the goalie out. Defender probably would have got it on the line even if it was on target, but regardless it wasn't. Into added time here, and we get down the right hand side with quite a bit of space for James, hoping he can nick any remaining points. Keeper does come out, so I do square it to just avoid that impending danger. Go for the shot, but yeah, nowhere near going in really. And that's all she wrote for the game, so not too much progress made points wise in that one. Wales, despite Italy scoring, somehow nicked man of the match with Joe Jacobson at fullback. So even a chance for Italy to gain points in a game that only they've scored in, and Jacobson nicks it off them. Moving to a point and a half away from victory, which probably isn't too hard to earn in even just this game. So it could be done in this next matchup. We head down the right with James. He does eventually manage to pull it back to Ramsey, but that shot is blocked. Probably should have been finished, and to be fair, that would have been the whole matchup right there, an assist and a goal, and that would have been the 10 points. But we're looking to Bale, back to Zaniolo. And again, James down that right side has always got a bit of open space, especially with how fast it is. Well, he is, not it. You know he's going to penetrate it, and he does get down there, pull it back to Zaniolo. And that is a second Italy goal. And again, only a half point gain back again, and now you know in the next Welsh goal. And it is over. We attempt to build forward, a horrible attempt. He comes forward at us again after Bucky makes the first save. And Booth on alert to this one as well. Nothing too testing, stuff he should be saving. I thought I'd throw him in there just for old time's sake. He's arguably not the best Italian goalie anymore. Probably not even arguably at this point, there's a few ahead of him, but just for what he was, I had to put him in there. We get forward again here, and he does make quite a good save there from close range, to be fair to him. And obviously, as I said, the goalie's not the most important part anyway. Might not be using the best Italian goalie, but that does nothing for any points unless they're cracking balls up from drop kicks to get assists, which is extremely rare. We get into a bit of space for Bale here. He does get to the byline. I probably should have passed it back early instead of getting all the way to the byline. And that is put out for a corner. Just dumb it, I don't know why he's on and whips it in. Bonucci does win well. Gets someone's shins on the line, so that would have been another half-point game back for Italy, but obviously put Wales right on the brink of it then. Jacobson whips it in this time and make the change to the better taker. And this happens. What an emphatic way to end it from Daniel James. It is set up by an Italian, and they probably thought that's not too bad for themselves, but it does push Wales to the benchmark, 10 points. And they have eliminated Italy in, as I said, what is a bit of an upset in the first game of this first round. We're not done there, obviously. We're not going to stop trying because I know the matchup's over. If anything, it's a bit of a leash off, not worrying about points and anything. You can kind of, again, go a bit ham, if you will, as Ramsey scores another quite nice finish there. Didn't really expect it to go in when I took it. But not to completely discredit this guy, he does get a shot off there with De Bruyne. Nice finish, to be fair, and De Bruyne is always going to score finesses like that from that range. I'm not too surprised it went in. But as I say, we're not done ourselves, as again we get down James and Jacobson's right hand side. See him over there getting centralised there. And he does get on the end of it. Obviously means nothing for Italy at this point. I could add the points, but I kind of consider that when it hits the benchmark, which obviously in this round is 10 points, I almost consider it a full time. So anything played afterwards is good for me. I want to try and win a game, whatever, but it does nothing to the score because, as I say, it's almost like the full time whistle on the tie's gone. We do win that one 4-1, quite an emphatic victory, kind of matches the first game after that shocker of one in the middle. As I said, I probably shouldn't have played it at the time I did, but it is what it was. James does run away with the man of the match there. We move on to the confirmation of the result. So it is 10 to 2.5 here. Top scorers and assisters dominated by Welsh, mostly Bale and James topping the scorers and assisters. And I'll show you again the matchups here. The next episode we will be moving into Turkey, Switzerland. I'd make a proper kind of tournament tree, but it does depend on best third place finishes. As you can see, there's only 12 matchups and not 16 if it was around 32. As I say again, Turkey and Switzerland in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.